The multi-billion-dollar gaming industry has been a source of envy and frustration in Hollywood for decades. These games look so much like movies already, with their fantasy titles, their heroes' journeys, their sci-fi Star Wars settings. And yet, every time they try to convert a game into an actual film, it falls apart in their hands. Until now.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies.
A TV series called The Last of Us has just turned a PlayStation video game into a small-screen sensation. And now the daddy of all role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons, has overcome several false starts to become a hit movie.
Truth be told, we helped the wrong person steal the wrong thing.
So why did this one, subtitled Honour Among Thieves, succeed where all the others were hated by gamers and film fans alike? Well, the answer seems to be for the same reason the very first Star Wars, Chapter 4, was the only one that was much fun. It's got charm.
We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
Honour Among Thieves opens, unsurprisingly, in a dungeon. There we meet two cellmates, played by Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, who are going to have to escape soon or there's not much of a movie. They do, but there's an appealing switch. Michelle's the tough warrior. Chris is more the fast-talking ideas man. Butch Cassidy to her Sundance Kid.
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so...
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
So you make plans that fail?
No.
He also plays the lute.
Not relevant.
They briefly flash back to what got them into this predicament. Their original henchmen, including a slippery Hugh Grant, let them down. And when our two heroes manage to escape, they discover dodgy Hugh has not only stolen their loot, but also kidnapped Chris's daughter. There's also magic malfeasance aplenty.
How are we going to pull this off?
We're gonna need a team.
Now, if you know anything about Dungeons & Dragons, and this next bit is just about all I know about Dungeons & Dragons, you'll know they'll have to form a new crew, all with different powers, and then go from level to level until they achieve whatever it is they need to achieve.
You need coolness! To give us a fighting chance, we're gonna need strength. You got this, right?
I know you don't.
We also need courage, magic, and you.
I also know it takes hours and hours, sometimes all weekend, and I didn't need the TV series Stranger Things to tell me how obsessive Dungeons fans can get. I used to live next door to one.
Be warned. There is evil here.
I'm glad he's on our side.
But before we can employ various sorcerers, druids and paladins, we need Hugh Grant to establish his villainy, and he grabs it with both hands. After years of playing various silly asses in undemanding rom-coms, Hugh has discovered his true calling.
It's a gift for every one of you.
All right, take me down. This is absurdly high. It's not what we discussed.
He's terrific in this, but the secret of the unexpected success of Dungeons & Dragons, and no one was more surprised than me, is that everyone else is pretty good in it too.
You need cooling.
Follow me to the orifice.
Back to school.
The orifice?
I'll go last.
Let's go.
I don't mind that.
Michelle Rodriguez is always reliable. She seems to have cornered the market in tough broads who never find love, and she's the other best thing in Dungeons & Dragons. But so's Chris Pine, whose charm often eluded me until now. He's great in a goofy, young Harrison Ford sort of way here.
Protect it with your very life. I will. Hold this. None of us can say our lives gone the way we'd hoped.
I did think you'd serve longer.
We got an early release?
Good behavior.
Yeah, behaving good.
It's light, it's got good enough characters, it's mostly treated as comedy, but it's got enough heart and soul to make it mean something. It's also, unusually for an effects-based film like this, noticeably well directed by co-writers John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein.
This is unlike anything we've ever seen.
What's trying to kill us this time?
Pretty much everything.
It's pretty obvious that everyone, with the possible exception of Hugh Grant, realised pretty early on that Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves was a cut above. Not only was it getting quite a few things right, it was also not getting the usual things wrong. So the last 10 minutes or so is spent clearing the decks for a profitable sequel.
I know what to do. I can ask corpses 5 questions and then they go back to being dead.
Perlamon Tergatis.
Maybe I'm not saying it right.
Yuck.
Wonderful.
In some ways, this is a bit of a shame. Yes, the follow-ups will make money, but the usual law of sequels, not a patch on the first one, is probably inevitable. Still, if you're in the right frame of mind, I suggest you enjoy the original and ignore all the rest, and you don't even have to throw the oddly shaped dice.